இந்த பதிவு உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருந்தா மறக்காம லைக் பண்ணுங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க, கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க, சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்க. நன்றி, வணக்கம். வாழ்க வையகத்தோர்.
Number 1. Which of the following bracketed keys correctly describes Whittaker's 5-kingdom system of classification? According to Whittaker's classification, kingdom Monera includes all prokaryotic organisms. Kingdom Protista includes organisms with well-defined nucleus, that means eukaryotes which have single cell. Kingdom Plantae includes multicellular eukaryotes that are autotrophic. Kingdom Fungi includes multicellular eukaryotes that are saprophytic. Kingdom Animalia includes multicellular eukaryotes that are holozoic. So according to Whittaker's 5-kingdom system of classification, the correctly matching option is option D. Number 2. The flat horizontal line between the waves of ECG represents time when. Electrocardiogram, ECG has P wave, QRS complex and T wave. The P wave is an upward wave and indicates arterial depolarization. QRS complex indicates ventricular depolarization. T wave is an upward wave and indicates ventricular repolarization. The flat horizontal line is called as isoelectric line. There is no electrical activity, but there will be a mechanical activity. Example, ST segment indicates atrial contraction. So the correct option for this question is option B. There is no electrical activity in the heart, but there is a mechanical activity in the heart. So the correct option is B. Question number 3. Which of the following statements are correct about the modes of excretion? Freshwater bony fishes are aminotelic. Marine bony fishes release thylamine oxidize as their chief excretory product. Terrestrial insects such as cockroach are the uricotelic, while aquatic insects are aminotelic. Tadpole of the frog is aminotelic. Question number 5. During the formation of gametophytes and embryo in angiosperms, the cells undergo two types of cell divisions. The diagram given below is a representation of them. The red lines indicate their plan of division. What is the correct type of X and Y? So here the diagrammatic representation is given X and Y. Final division is a type of division in which the plan of division is parallel to the plan of the tissue. Anticlinal division is a type of division in which the plan of division is perpendicular to the plan of tissues. Due to the periclinal division, we get many rows of cells. So the correct answer for this question is option A. So in the given diagrammatic representation, X is periclinal division, Y is an anticlinal division. So the correct option is A. Question number 6. An individual having genotype capital A, capital B, small c, capital D will produce dash types of gametes. The given individual is hybrid for gene A, homozygous for gene B, homozygous for gene C and homozygous for gene D. Thus this individual is a monohybrid. Monohybrids will produce only two types of gametes. The two types of gametes present in these examples are capital A, capital B, small c, capital D and small a, capital B, small c and capital D. So the correct answer for this question is option A, 2. An individual having genotype capital A, capital B, small c, capital D will produce two types of gametes. Question number 7. The first living cell to evolve were. The first living cells were unicellular with naked DNA. There was no oxygen in the environment, hence they were anaerobic. They could not prepare their own food and derived their nutrition from the surrounding chemicals. Hence they were chemoheterotrophs. So the answer for this question is option B, anaerobic chemoheterotrophs. Question number 8. Majority of plant viruses are transmitted by. The most of the plant viruses depend on particular vector for transmission and for further spreading of the infection. Most significantly used vector are piercing, sucking insects that easily transmit plant viruses. So the answer for this question is insects Option C. Question number 9. Parenchyma cells are concerned with. Parenchyma is the most simple and unspecialized tissue which is concerned mainly with vegetative activities of the plant. The main function of the parenchyma cells are storage of food material, example carrot, beetroot, etc. Chlorenchyma helps in photosynthesis. Parenchyma helps in floating of aquatic plants, that is generally called as hydrophytes, and also helps in gaseous exchange during respiration and photosynthesis, example hydrilla. Rigid state, they give rigidity to the plant organs. In an emergency, they behave like meristematic cells and help in the healing of various plant injuries. Sometimes they store secretory substances. It is always called as ergastic substances such as tannins, resins, and gums. They are called idioblast. So the correct question is option D, storage of surplus food. Question number 10. Two homologous chromosomes are deposited in the diagram given below. Crossing over occurs between chromatid 2 and chromatid 3 at the point as depicted. The gamete produced as a result of this crossing over will be. Crossing over occurs below a non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes during pactin phase of meiosis 1. In this example, after crossing over, the chromosome number 1 will have one chromatid with capital A small b and another chromatid with capital A capital B. Chromosome number 2 will have one chromatid with small a small b and another chromatid with small a capital B. In anaphase, one of the chromosome will go in one cell and the other will go to the another cell. Then in anaphase 2, the centromere of these chromosome will split, leading to the formation of four cells, one with capital A small b, the other with capital A capital B, the third with small a small b, and the fourth with small a capital B. So the answer for this question is option C, capital A small b, capital A capital B, small b, and small a capital B. Question number 11. In the Hardy-Weinberg equation, the frequency of heterozygous individuals is represented by. The Hardy-Weinberg equation is p square 2 plus 2pq plus q square is equal to 1, where p is the frequency of A allele, q is the frequency of small a allele, p square 2 is the frequency of homozygous genotype capital A, q square is the frequency of homozygous genotype small a, 2pq is the frequency of the heterozygous genotype capital A small a. So the correct option for this question is option C, 2pq. Question number 12. Exhibiting adaptations for survival is a. Any characteristic that is advantageous to a particular organism or population is called adaptation. It is brought about by natural selection of habitable variations and hence it can be regarded as the genetic trait or behavioral trait. It is responses made by an organism that help to survive, or physiological traits that may be a body process that help an organism to survive, reproduce, or structural trait that is feature of an organism's body that helps it to survive or reproduce. So the correct answer for this question is all of these. Option D. Question number 15. The pressure with which we feel the artery hitting our finger when we measure pulse is. The Minimum pressure in the artery is diastolic blood pressure, which is 80 mmHg. The maximum pressure in the artery is systolic blood pressure, which is 120 mmHg. When the artery expands, it expands from the pressure of 80 mmHg to pressure of 120 mmHg. Thus, the pressure with which we feel the artery heating out finger is 120 minus 80, that is equal to 40 mmHg. It is also called as pulse pressure. So the answer for this question is option C. The difference in systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure. So the correct option is option C. Question number 16. Identify the labeling A and B with respect to the maize plant. Or maize has flowers pollinated by wind. It is generally called as anemopillus. They have dry pollen grains and thin long styles and feathery stigma. The tarsals are male flowers with style and stigma which help in trapping pollen grains. The ear is the female flowers. So the answer representation: A represent tarsals, that is male flower, B represent ear, that is female flower. So the correct option is B. Question number 17. A pure homozygous pea plant with yellow round seeds is crossed with a pure homozygous pea plant with green wrinkled seeds. Their progeny produced is allowed to undergo cell pollination. It produces 4 different phenotypes. Each phenotype is an expression of different types of genotypes. Select the correct options from the table. In the dihybrid class, yellow round seeds are produced because of genotypes capital Y, capital Y, capital R, capital Y, capital R, small r, capital Y, small y, capital R, and capital Y, capital R, small r. There are 4 genotypes. Green round seeds are produced by genotypes small y, capital R, and small y, capital R, small r. 2 genotypes. Yellow wrinkled seeds are produced due to capital Y, small r, and capital Y, small r. 2 genotypes. So the answer for this question is option B. That is types of genotypes: yellow round seeds 4, green round seeds 2, yellow wrinkled seeds 2. So the answer is option B. Question number 9. In Meghalaya, sacred groves are found in. Sacred groves are forests which are generally worshipped by certain cultures. Such sacred groves are found in Khasi and Jaintia hills in Meghalaya, Aravalli hills of Rajasthan, Western Ghat regions of Karnataka and Maharashtra, and the Sarguja Chandra and Bastar areas of Madhya Pradesh. So the answer for this question is option A, Khasi and Jaintia hills. Question number 19. The connecting link between apes and man is. Australopithecus had many characters of man as well as apes. Its ape-like characters include cranial capacity of around 600 cc, U-shaped prognatous jaw and larger teeth. Its man-like characters include erect posture and forelimbs shorter than hind limbs. Hence, it is considered as a connecting link between apes and man. So the answer for this question is option C, Australopithecus. Question number 20. Observe the following age-wise population graph of a country in 2018. The population in this country is. The given graph is of Japan in 2018. If you observe the age pyramid, the number of people in young age group is less. This implies that the birth rate is less. It means that in future there will be more deaths than births, leading to decline in population. So the given diagrammatic representation explains declining. So the correct option is C. Question number 21. Static efficiency is represented by X by incident total solar radiations. Here X in this equation represent the efficiency of photosynthesis is the amount of biomass a plant can produce in a given amount of light. The amount of biomass produced by producers in an ecosystem is gross primary productivity. Photosynthetic efficiency is equal to gross primary productivity by incident total solar radiation. So the answer for this question is option A. X indicates gross primary productivity by incident total solar radiation. So the correct option is A. Question number 22. In the megaspore. In phenylketonuria, the patient has a deficiency of the enzyme which. Phenylketonuria is an autosomal recessive disorder. In this disease, the patient cannot produce enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase, which helps in the conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine. Thus, there is the accumulation of phenylalanine and its derivatives in the body. Accumulation of these brain results in the mental retardation. These are also excreted through urine because of its poor absorption by kidney. The gene encoding for phenylalanine hydroxylase is located on the chromosome number 12. So the answer for this question is option A, causes hydroxylation of phenylalanine to form tyrosine. Question number 24. Majority of the carbon on the earth is. The reservoir of carbon in the world is the oceans. Overall, 71% of the global carbon is dissolved in them. The oceanic reservoir regulates the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So the answer for this question is option B, dissolved in oceans. Question number 25. The species area relationship represented by the equation log S is equal to log C plus Z log A is graphically seen as. Logarithmic scale. The species area relationship is straight line described by the equation log capital S is equal to log C plus Z log A, where S equal to species richness, A is equal to area, Z is slope of the line represent coefficient, and C is equal to Y intercept. Ecologists have discovered that the value of Z lies in the question number 27. Callose thickening found in endothecium of anther volleys. Callose is a polysaccharide having repeating units of beta glucose with beta 123 glycosidic bond with some beta 126 branches. Callose is produced during pollen grain formation, cell plate formation, and also stress response. Callose present in the endothecium helps in dispersion of pollen grains. So the answer for this question is option B, polysaccharide made up of beta glucose monomers. So the correct answer for this question is option B. Question number 28. The parents do not suffer from disease, but this disease is seen in some of the children. This disease must caused due to. In autosomal recessive disorder, if the parents are heterozygous, capital A small e, they will not suffer from the disease. However, they will produce offsprings of the genotype capital A, capital A, capital A, small a, and small a, small a. The children with genotype small a will suffer from the disease. So the answer for this question is option B, autosomal recessive gene. International Day for Conservation of Biodiversity is celebrated on 5th June, World Environmental Day, 7th April, World Health Day, 1st December, World AIDS Awareness Day. So the answer for this question is option B, 22nd May. Question number 30. Observe the following graph representing the offsprings produced at the end of the cross. State the correct statement regarding this. In the given graph, there are 7 phenotypes. The proportion of first and seventh phenotype is the same. The proportion of second and sixth phenotype is same. The proportion of third and fifth phenotype is same. The proportion of fourth phenotype is different and it is maximum. This type of distribution is called normal distribution. This is seen in polygenic inheritance or quantitative inheritance, which shows continuous variation since it has 7 phenotypes. This character is controlled by 3 genes. Example, human skin color. When 2 mulattoes inherited capital A small b, capital B small b, capital C small c, uh, capital A small a, capital B small b, capital C small c. They produce various shades of skin color in the ratio of 1 is to 6 is to 15 is to 20 is to 15 is to 6 is to 1. So the answer for this question is option D. It represents polygenic inheritance controlled by 3 genes. Question number 31. State the function of the gap junction found in the epithelium. Epithelium tissue are the types of tissue found in animals which provide a lining or covering over the parts of the body. These tissues have certain connecting links which give structural as well as a functional support called as junctions. There are 3 types of junctions. Tight junction. They present between cells. They support to prevent any leaks of material which is not required across the tissue and also in a way keep cells separate. Second one is adhering junctions. As the name suggests, they do not job up adhesion between the cells, keeping it together. Third one is gap junctions. They are found in epithelial tissues and provide transport of materials such as ion transport, small molecules, water, etc. between adjacent cells. So the answer for this question is option B, enabling relay of substances between adjoining cells by connecting cytoplasm for rapid transfer of ions, small molecules. So that is the function of gap junction. So the correct option is B. Question number 32. From the following, select the feature that is common to all respiratory systems in animals. Respiratory system is responsible for the process where gaseous exchange takes place to continuously provide oxygen and remove the carbon dioxide formed in respiration. During breathing, gas exchange process, the gaseous exchange step occurs due to a pressure gradient that follows the principle of diffusion. Since the inhaled exhaled air use the same route for moving in and out of the body of organisms, we can say that gas movement is bidirectional and not unidirectional. Every respiratory system does not have a series of tubes for air intake and outtake. For example, humans have single passage for taking in air and giving out, that is trachea, whereas some insects have multiple passages. Gases move through a moist membrane in all animals. For example, at alveoli, gas diffuses across the membrane of cells which have nearly 70% of water. Same goes for trachea, gills and subcutaneous breathing. So the answer for this question is option D. Gases diffuse across a moist membrane. So the correct option is D. Question number 33. A genetically modified bacteria producing human insulin can be obtained by adding a human insulin gene inside the genetic material of a bacteria. Choose the next step in using the modified bacteria to treat diabetes among the following. Human insulin can be produced via genetically engineered bacteria having the human insulin gene added to its plasmid. Once the modified bacteria has been developed, it can be commercially mass produced in a bioreactor. The insulin produced can be purified after extraction via The various downstream processing using the altered bacteria directly may cause undesired reactions to the diabetic patient. So the answer for this question is option C. Put the bacterium into a fermenter to multiply rapidly. So the correct option is C. Question number 34. The picture below is a microscopic image of a plant cell found in the leaf. In the cell, identify the labeled part that help with storage of materials in cells. Plant cells come under the category of eukaryotic cells, which means they have membrane structures called organelles. In the given image, the label P is the nucleus, which regulates all functions and activities of the cell. Label Q is the chloroplast, unique to the plant cell, which act as the site of photosynthetic process. Label R refers the cell wall, again unique to plant cell, which is made up of cellulose and provides rigidity to the plant cell. Label S is vacuole, which is the largest organelle in plant cell and helps with the storage of cell products and substances for plant cell. So the answer for this question is option D. Yes. Question number 35. Read the following statements about enzymes. Which among them are correct? Here there are four statements are given. Enzymes are the group of biomolecules which act as biocatalysts, speeding up the reactions. These are made up of proteins. When such proteins encounter high temperatures, it causes certain bonds to break in the structure, resulting in the conformational change, that is generally called as denaturation. This denaturation makes the enzyme inactive and useless as catalyst. For an enzyme to be active, it may need support of non-protein constituents called cofactors, which bind to it, thus making it catalytically active. These can be organic compounds, vitamins, or mineral ions. The working of an enzyme binding to a single substrate was explained using lock and key analogy given by Emil Fischer. In this analogy, the lock is the enzyme and the key is a substrate. On binding of substrate, the enzyme unlocks and changes the substrate to product. Also, this model explains the specificity of the enzyme as there is only one type of key to open the lock. So the correct options are statements are given correctly. So the correct option is B. 6. There are 5 test tubes having a culture medium containing rough colonies of Streptococcus pneumoniae. The following substances were added in them. Which of these test tubes will show smooth colonies of Streptococcus pneumoniae on incubation for some time? So here there are 5 test tubes are given. Test tube example is the basis of Avery, MacLeod and McCarthy's experiments. They provided that DNA is the genetic material. That means only DNA from heat-killed smooth strain could enter rough strain and transform them into smooth colonies. In test tube 5, DNA's enzyme will destroy DNA in the smooth strain and hence it will not be able to transfer its DNA. So the answer for this question is option D. The colonies of 2 will show smooth colonies of Streptococcus pneumoniae on incubation for some time. So the correct option is D. That is, a plasmid has accepted the gene of interest such as gene coding for streptomycin. How can we make clones of this plasmid? Plasmid is an extra chromosomal DNA found in bacteria which can self-replicate. To make multiple copies of plasmid, it should be inserted into a bacterium. A plasmid would not replicate if it were inserted into a virus, as viruses do not contain plasmid and do not have the necessary conditions for its replication. Treating the plasmids with a restriction enzyme will cut into smaller fragments, rendering the plasmid useless. Running the plasmid or a gel, that is using gel electrophoresis, would only tell us the size of the plasmid and not make clones or copies. So the answer for this question is option C. inserting it into a suitable bacterium in order to produce multiple copies. Question number 38. There are two types of organisms known to us based on cell types, prokaryote and eukaryote. Among the given features, select the one that distinguishes prokaryotic organism from eukaryotic organisms. Prokaryotes are cells that are characterized by a lack of membrane-bound organelles, including nucleus, Golgi body, etc. These cells of simple design and genetically have cell wall around their cell membrane for support and rigidity. Organisms of this cell type are found in various habitats and not exclusively in water. These are found to be unicellular. Eukaryotes, on the other hand, are more complex and have membrane-bound organelles like nucleus. These organisms can be found in unicellular, example amoeba, and multicellular humans. Also, eukaryotes are not exclusively terrestrial. They are found in other habitats too. So the answer for this question is option C. Prokaryotes are structurally less complex than eukaryotes. From the given biomolecules, identify the one which is not a polysaccharide. Polysaccharides are long chains of sugars which are joined to each other by glycosidic bonds. These chains generally have monosaccharides linked together. Cellulose, chitin, and glycogen are examples of polysaccharides. That is generally called as carbohydrates. Glycerol is a compound having three hydroxyl groups forming a constituent of lipids involved in the formation of triglycerides. So the answer for this question is option D, glycerol. Question number 40. In the given options, which one is characteristic feature of the zygotine stage of prophase 1 observed in meiosis? Zygotine stage is observed in prophase 1 of meiosis 1 divisional phase. In this stage, chromosomes start pairing together forming an association called synapses. This pairing is observed between homologous chromosomes. These synapses result in the formation of complex structure called synaptonymal complex. Crossing over is observed in pactin stage of prophase 1 where exchange of genetic material takes place. In diakinesis, the paired of chromosomes separate result in terminalization of chiasmata. Chiasmata is formed when the chromosomes of synaptonymal complex separate from each other. Chromomeres are linearly arranged chromatin granules absorbed in chromosomes. So the answer for this question is option D, synaptonymal complex. Electroporation is a technique that can be used for genetic engineering. This technique enables gene manipulation by electroporation is the process where electric energy is passed through living tissue surface causing appearance of pores on the membrane which then can be used to pass the biological material easily. This way we can introduce the gene of interest. So the answer for this question is option C, making transient pores in cell membrane to introduce the gene constructs. So the correct option is C. Question number 42. Which of these statements is not true about cockroaches? Cockroaches are included in the class Insecta under the phylum Arthropoda. Cockroaches are invertebrates which lack endoskeleton. Rather, they are endoskeleton made out of chitin covering the entire body. They have the segmented body divided into three sections: head, thorax, and abdomen. Head is made up of six fused segments showing mobility at its neck. The mouth section of cockroach has four parts: labrum, labium, pair of mandibles, and maxilla. So the answer for this question is option A. Cockroaches have an endoskeleton made up of chitin which spans the whole body. So the correct option is A. Question number 43. RNA interference is a technique used for making tobacco plants resist against pests like nematodes. Melodigin incognita. In this technique, which of the following process is inhibited? Plant is reduced due to the infection of nematode. Melodigin incognita. RNA interference, this RNAi is a process of silencing of a specific mRNA by making complementary double-stranded RNA molecule. The complementary RNA molecule will have sequence complementary to mRNA sequence, enabling formation stranded RNA. This way, the protein will not be translated from the transcribed mRNA. So the answer for this question is option C, translation of mRNA. Question number 44. In the one word per statement is underlined. This word can be changed to obtain the correct statement. In which one it should not be changed? Plant viruses and some animal viruses have RNA as the genetic material. Thus, in the living world, most organisms have DNA as the genetic material, which can be transmitted from one generation to another. Even though RNA is a single stranded, purine pyrimidine ratio in ribonucleic acid can sometimes be equal to 1. The 5 end of the DNA strand has free phosphate group and the 3 end of the DNA strand has the free OH group. They do form phosphodiester bond. Thus the third carbon atom and the fifth carbon atom of some nucleotides in DNA are involved in the formation of phosphodiester bond. Thymine, it is a monocyclic nitrogen base. Pyrimidine always forms two weak hydrogen bonds with adenine. Dicyclic nitrogen base purine and cytosine, monocyclic nitrogen base pyrimidine always form three weak hydrogen bonds with guanine. Dicyclic nitrogen base purine in bDNA. So the answer for this question is option D. Monocyclic nitrogen bases always form weak hydrogen bonds with dicyclic nitrogen bases in bDNA. So the correct option is D. Question number 45. An enzyme is kept at minus 10 degrees Celsius for 3 minutes and is used in a chemical reaction P. It is then gradually brought to room temperature. It is now used in a chemical reaction Q. Another enzyme is kept at 80 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes and is used in chemical reaction R. It is then gradually brought to room temperature. It is now used in a chemical reaction S. Which of these reactions will be catalyzed by enzyme and which will not? When an enzyme is kept at sub-zero temperature, it gets inactivated and it cannot catalyze the chemical reaction. Hence, P will not occur. When the enzyme is tau, that is in warmed condition and brought back to normal temperature, the enzyme will become active and reaction Q will occur. However, when the enzyme is heated beyond 60 degrees Celsius, it undergoes denaturation. The tertiary structure, which is essential for the activity of enzyme, is destroyed and hence reaction R will not occur. When this heated enzyme is cooled down, the tertiary structure cannot be regained back and it is still non-functional. Hence, the reaction S will not occur too. So, the answer for this question is option D. A reaction in which products are formed only Q, reactions in which products are not formed P, R and S. So, the correct option is D. Question number 46. Read each of the statements carefully and choose the one that is true for the cell wall. The middle lamella is a layer mainly of calcium pectate which holds or glues the different neighboring cells together. The cell wall and middle may be traversed by plasmodesmata which connects the cytoplasm of neighboring cells. So the answer for this question is option A. The function of middle lamella is to hold different neighboring cells together. Question number 47. Identify the matched pair in the given options. In the cell cycle process, S phase is the part of the interphase stage. In this phase, the DNA of the cell is duplicated, marking the decision of the cell to enter divisional stage. Mitosis is one of the two cell division process where the outcome is two daughter cells who are identical to the parent cell, since new cells formed as equal same, that is in every aspect. This division also called as equational division. Meiosis is other type of division where the daughter cells formed have half the genetic content of the parental cell, so it also called as reductional division since the chromosome number is reduced. Crossing over is also a step observed in the prophase 1 of meiotic 1 division stage, where the non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes exchange their genetic material, as homologous chromosomes have their genes in the same location compared with non-homologous chromosomes. So the answer for this question is option D, crossing over, that is sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes. So that is the incorrect. So the answer for this question is option D. Question number 48. A healthy person and an individual with emphysema having equal body mass were made to perform an exercise of the same amount. The rate of oxygen entering the blood in the lungs was measured and it is shown in the table below. Identify the statement that best explains about the outcome. Emphysema is a condition where the elastin fibers surrounding the alveoli are damaged. As a result, the alveoli are not able to contract to its full extent, causing reduction in volume of gas exchange. This ultimately leads to low oxygen carrying capacity. From the table, we can see that the affected individual is showing very low exchange rate compared with the healthy one. Gas exchange site in the alveoli in the lungs, we can conclude that his alveoli are not functioning properly. So the answer for this question is option C. The person with emphysema has damaged alveoli. So the correct option is C. The enzyme DNA polymerase observed to be active in the process of DNA replication is involved in the synthesis of DNA dependent. DNA polymerase is a polypeptide acting as a biocatalyst. This enzyme is required to make new strand of DNA in the DNA replication process. For it to work efficiently, it requires a template. Thus, it uses old DNA strand as a template to make new strand by adding nucleotides one by one. Reverse transcriptase has the ability to make DNA using RNA as a template. Now, the answer for this question is option C. A strand of DNA using DNA as template. So the correct option is C. Question number 50. What is the reason for using restriction endonucleases as a tool for genetic engineering? An endonuclease is a biocatalyst protein that is able to identify a specific short nucleotide sequence churning and mixing of. Based on the simplified cycle given below, choose the option with accurate labeling for A, B, C and D. This is rock, which contains phosphorus in the form of phosphates. When rocks are weathered, minute amount of these phosphates dissolved in soil solution and are absorbed by the roots of the plants. Herbivores and other animals obtain these elements from plants. The waste products and the dead organisms are decomposed by phosphate solubilizing bacteria releasing phosphorus. So the answer for this question is option A. A represent detritus, D represent litter fall. So the correct option is A. Question number 56. Match the disorders given in the column 1 with the conditions seen in the disorder given in the column 2 and select the correct option from the codes given below. 1. Muscular dystrophy is characterized by the generation of skeletal muscles. 2. Tetany is characterized by rapid muscular spasms. 3. Myasthenia gravis is characterized by the fatigue, weakness and paralysis of skeletal system. Fourth one, osteoporosis is characterized by the decreased bone mass and increased risk of fractures. So the correctly matching option is C. So the question number 57. Sir William Bowman was an English surgeon. He discovered Bowman's capsule, Bowman's gland and Bowman's membrane. Bowman's capsule is found in the kidney. Where do we find Bowman's gland and Bowman's membrane? Bowman's glands are olfactory glands present in the nose. They are located just below the nasal epithelium and produce mucus to keep the olfactory epithelium moist condition. The cornea of the eye is made up of 5 layers: the outer epithelium, anterior elastic lamina, substantia propria, posterior elastic lamina and inner epithelium. Outer part of the anterior elastic lamina, which is made up of collagen fibers, is called Bowman's membrane. So the answer for this question is option B. Bowman's gland in nose and the Bowman's membrane found in eye. So the correct option is B. Question number 58. Which of the following statement is correct about thyroid gland? The thyroid gland is a gland made up of 2 lobes. Each lobe is situated on the either side of the trachea. The follicular cells of the thyroid gland are responsible for the secretion of thyroid hormone. It is generally called as T3 and T4. These cells are present in the stroma. They have the substance known as colloid. Exophthalmic goiter is the form of hyperthyroidism. Hypothyroidism during pregnancy can cause defective fetal development. So the answer for this question is option B. The follicular cells of the thyroid gland are responsible for the secretion of hormones. So the correct option is B. Question number 59. A specialized procedure in which an embryo is formed in the laboratory by injecting a sperm directly into the ovum is. A specialized procedure in which the embryo is formed in the laboratory by injecting a sperm directly into the ovum is known as intracytoplasmic sperm injection. In short form, ICSI. Artificial insemination is otherwise called as AI is the procedure which the semen collected from the husband or healthy donor is inseminated either into the vagina or the uterus. Gamete transfer fallopian tube transfer, it is service called as GIFT, is a procedure in which the ovum collected from a donor female is transferred into the fallopian tube of female who is unable to produce ovum. Zygote intrafallopian tube transfer, it is in short form ZIFT, is a procedure in which zygote or early embryo with up to 8 blastomere is transferred to the fallopian tube. So the answer for this question is option A. ICSI. That means intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So the correct option is read the statements given below. Identify which of them are true and which of them are false. Select the correct options after referring to the table. Malaria is a vector-borne disease caused by protozoan Plasmodium. There are 4 species of Plasmodium. The malaria caused by Plasmodium falciparum is most serious and can be fatal. Plasmodium enters the female body by the bite of female Anopheles mosquito. The parasites initially attack the liver cells and then multiply in the red blood cells, causing the rupture. So the answer for this question is option A. This statement 1 is true, statement 2 is false, statement 3 is true, statement 4 is false. So the correct option is A. The following statements regarding fertilization and implantation are incorrect. Here there are 4 statements are given. Corona radiata cells are not produced by the ovum. They are produced by the ovary, which forms the follicle around the ovum. Second statement. Fertilization is the process of the union of sperm and ovum, which leads to the formation of zygote. This occurs in the ampulla of the fallopian tube. The sperm is viable for a period of 24 to 40 hours. Ovum is viable for a period of 24 hours. Therefore, for fertilization to occur, it is necessary that the sperm and ovum are transported simultaneously to the ampullar region. Third statement. Implantation is the process by which the blastocysts get embedded in the endometrium. It occurs about 7 days after fertilization. Fourth statement is the continuous division of morula leads to the formation of blastocyst. The blastocyst then further moves towards the uterus for implantation. So here the incorrect statements are first and fourth. So the correct option is C. In the following options, each one has a pair of names. They are the same hormones with different names. Which one of these does not follow the rule? The parathyroid hormone was the first discovered by Philip Colip. Hence, it is also called as Colip's hormone. It is a hypocalcemic hormone. Prolactin is a hormone produced by the adenohypophysis. It helps in the growth of the mammary glands and the formation of milk. After childbirth, it also maintains corpus luteum for about 3 to 6 months, leading to lactation, amenorrhea. Hence, prolactin is also called as luteinotropic hormone. Vasopressin. It increases blood pressure. It is secreted by the hypothalamus but stored and released by the neurohypophysis. It is also acts on the kidney, stimulating it to absorb more water. Hence, it is also called antidiuretic hormone. The thyroid gland produces 2 hormones. It is triiodothyronin T3 and tetraiodothyronin T4. Since a major portion of the hormone produced is T4, it is called thyroxine. In the example, note the spelling. It is written tetraiodothyroxine. It should have been tetraiodothyroxine. So the answer for this question is option B, tetraiodothyroxine. So the correct option is B. Question number 63. Which of the following organism is used to get rid of mosquitoes from the fields? Dragonflies are used to get rid of mosquitoes in fields. Ladybird is used to get rid of aphids. Trichoderma species of fungi are effective against many plant pathogens. Bacillus thuringiensis is a bacterium capable of producing a toxin to get rid of butterfly caterpillars. So the answer for this question is option B. Dragonflies are organisms used to get rid of mosquitoes. Question number 64. Which of the following phylum the vector responsible for the transmission of malaria belongs to? Arthropoda is the largest phylum of kingdom Animalia. It includes insects. One third of species present on the earth include arthropods. Example, Anopheles, Aedes, Culex, Locusta, etc. Mollusca is the phylum that has the second largest number of organisms. So the answer for this question is option A, Arthropoda. Question number 65. The mechanical measures of population. Question number 68. Natural killer cells are large granular lymphocytes. They produce a chemical which produce spores in the foreign cells and destroy them. They are the part of innate immunity and form cellular barriers. The other two types of lymphocytes are B and T lymphocytes, which are small and have no granules in their cytoplasm. They are part of acquired immunity. So the answer for this question is option B, a type of lymphocyte that are the part of innate immunity. Question number 69. Which of the following statement regarding female reproductive system is incorrect? The female axillary ducts are constituted by the oviducts, example fallopian tube, uterus and vagina. Second statement, the ampulla is the widest part of the oviduct. It is the part where sperm and ovum are transported simultaneously by the fimbriae. Union of sperm and ovum, that is fertilization, occurs in this part. Third, the uterus opens into the vagina cervix. The cavity of the cervix is known as cervical canal. Fourth one, mons pubis is the part of female external genitalia. It is a cushion of fatty tissue covered by the skin and pubic hair. So the answer for this question is option B. The narrowest part of the oviduct is the ampulla. In the female reproductive system, this is incorrectly given. So the answer for this question is option B. Question number 70. During old age, immunity of a person begins to decrease, and as a result they become more susceptible to infections and diseases. What could be the probable reason for this? The thymus gland is responsible for the secretion of thymosins of T lymphocytes and provides cellular immunity. They also promote antibody production and provide humoral immunity. Hence, degeneration of the thymus gland in old age leads to decreased immunity. So the answer for this question is option C, due to the degeneration of thymus gland. Question number 71. The correct differentiation point between trichome and root hair is: the root hair are unicellular unbranched elongations of the epidermal cells and help absorb water and minerals from the soil. The epidermal hairs on the stem are called trichomes. The trichomes are usually multicellular. They may be branched or unbranched and soft, stiff. They may even be secretory. The trichomes help in preventing water loss due to transpiration. So the answer for this question is option C. Root hair help in water absorption while trichome help in prevention of water loss. So the correct option is C. Question number 72. Which of the following properties are not seen in Funaria? Funaria belongs to the division Bryophyte. It is a type of moss. Bryophytes include liverworts and mosses. Out of these, mosses are more evolved members of bryophytes. Their plant body is not differentiated into root, stem, and leaves. The gametophyte has two stages. The first stage is the protonymal stage, which develops directly from the spore. It is creeping, green, branched, and frequently filamentous stage. The second stage is leafy stage, which develops from the secondary protonema as a lateral bud. They consist of upright, slender, axis-bearing spirally arranged leaves. They are attached to the soil through multicellular and branched rhizoids. This stage bears 6 organs. The sporophyte is made up of capsule, seta, and foot. So the answer for this question is B. From the given 4 statements, the first and fourth statements are not seen in Funaria. So the correct option is B. Question number 73. Complete the analogy. Humans, DNA, viroids. DNA is the genetic material in humans. T.O. Dyer discovered a new infectious agent called virus. Question number 76. Which of these is a discrepancy of the 5 kingdom system of classification? The main aim of the classification is to group similar organisms together. The 5 kingdom classification given by Whittaker, prokaryotes are separated from eukaryotes, and fungi, which were earlier placed in the plant kingdom, were placed in separate kingdom as they are saprophytes. However, viruses that are non-cellular have not been given any place in this classification. Also, all unicellular eukaryotes having diverse properties have been placed under the kingdom Protista. They contain autotrophic, heterotrophic, and saprophytic protists. This is a demerit of this system of classification. So the answer for this question is option A. The second and third statement is the discrepancy of the 5 kingdom system of classification. So the correct option is A. Question number 77. During glycolysis, isomerization occurs in how many steps? During glycolysis, isomerization occurs in 3 steps. During the conversion of glucose 6-phosphate into fructose 6-phosphate, during the conversion of dihydroxyacetone phosphate into 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde, during the conversion of 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde into 2-phosphoglyceraldehyde. Mutase is an enzyme which belongs to the isomerase class of enzymes. So the answer for this question is option 3. The correct option is B. During glycolysis, isomerization takes place in 3 steps. Question number 78. Which of these photosynthetic pigments are soluble in water? Chemically, chlorophylls are porphyrin derivatives with a distinct head and tail region. They are insoluble in water but soluble in organic solvents. Chemically, carotenoids, carotins and xanthophylls are lipid compounds which are derivatives of lycopene pigment. They too are insoluble in water but soluble in organic solvents. Chemically, phycobilins are also porphyrins derivatives. Open tetrapyrrolic chains. That means no ring, no magnesium, and no pital chain. They are soluble in water. So the answer for this question is option D. Phycobilins. Phycobilins are photosynthetic pigments are soluble in water. So the correct option is D. Question number 79. Read the following properties. Which of these are seen in mango as well as coconut? In mango and coconut, the fruit is known as drupe. They develop from monocarpellary superior ovaries and are one-seeded. In mango, the pericarp is well differentiated into an outer thin epicarp, middle fleshy edible mesocarp, and inner stony hard endocarp. In coconut, which is also drupe, the mesocarp is fibrous. So the answer for this question is option A. From statement 1, 2 and 3 are the three properties commonly seen in both mango as well as coconut. So the correct option is A. Question number 80. Match the property of the given plant with its examples. Amphibian plants are bryophytes. Morgantia is a liverwort belong to the bryophyte group. Cryptogams are those plants in which sex organs are hidden. Algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes are cryptogams, but the only pteridophytes have xylem and phloem. Hence they are called as vascular cryptogams. Azula, whose leaves form symbiotic association with Cyanobacterium anabina, is a pteridophyte. Phanerogames or spermatophytes are seed producing plants. Phanerogames with exposed seed and without ovary and fruits are gymnosperms. Pinus is a gymnosperm. Phanerogames with seeds enclosed in fruits are angiosperms. Z maize, that is maize, is a monocotyledon angiosperm. Maize is a monocotyledon angiosperm. So the correct matching one is option B. Game without ovary, that is Pinus. Vascular cryptogame Azula. Amphibian plant Morgantia. Panorogame with fruits is Z maize. So the question number 81. Which of these statements about monocot stem is false? The monocot stem has a sclerenchymatous hypodermis, a large number of scattered vascular bundles, each surrounded by sclerenchymatous bundle sheath, and a large conspicuous parenchymatous ground tissue. Vascular bundles are conjoined closed, that is without gambium, and with endark protoxylem. Peripheral vascular bundles are generally smaller than centrally located ones. The phloem parenchyma is absent and water containing cavities are present within the vascular bundles. So the answer for this question is option C. Central vascular bundles are generally smaller than peripheral vascular bundles. So the correct option is C. Question number 82. The floral diagram represented below will be seen in which set of plants? From the given floral diagram, the plant has 4 sepals, 4 petals, 6 stamens, and an ovary having 2 locules, that is bicarpellary syncarpous gynoecium. This type of flower is characteristically seen in the family Brassicaceae, which includes mustard, cabbage, and cauliflower, gram, groundnut, and lupin belong to the family Fabaceae. Tomato, brinjal, and potato belong to the family Solanaceae. Gloriosa, Ale, and asparagus belong to the family Liliaceae. So the correctly matching one is option D. Mustard, cabbage, and cauliflower. The given floral diagram represented in mustard, cabbage, and cauliflower. So the correct option is D. Question number 83. The substrate in Krebs cycle which undergoes a reaction very similar to pyruvic acid in mitochondria is. In the mitochondria, pyruvic acid undergoes oxidative decarboxylation to form acetyl-CoA as follows. In Krebs cycle, alpha ketoglutaric acid also undergoes oxidative decarboxylation to form succinyl-CoA as the diagram given in the textbook. So the answer for this question is option C, alpha ketoglutaric acid. Question number 84. Citrus canker is caused by some bacteria or pathogens causing damage to human beings, crops, farm animals, and pets. Cholera, typhoid, tetanus, citrus canker are well-known diseases caused by different bacteria. Citrus canker is a disease affecting citrus species and is caused by the bacterium Xanthomonas axonopodis. So the answer for this question is option B, bacteria. Citrus canker caused by bacteria. Question number 85. Which of these properties of cassia is correct? The flower of cassia can be divided into two similar halls only in one particular vertical plane. Hence, it is a zygomorphic flower. The margins of petals of cassia overlaps one another but not in any particular direction. Hence, it shows imbricate estivation. So the answer for this question is option A. Cassia is a, the plant cassia is having zygomorphic flower and imbricate estivation of petals. So the correct option for this question is option A. Question number 86. Which statement about photosynthesis is incorrect? C4 plants show chloroplast dimorphism. Mesophyll cells have PEP carboxylase but do not have rubisco, while the bundle sheath cells have rubisco but do not have PEP carboxylase. The ATP synthase enzyme consists of two parts. One called that is F0 is embedded in thylakoid membrane and forms a transmembrane channel that carries out facilitated diffusion of protons across the membrane. The other portion called F1 and it protrudes on the outer surface of the thylakoid membrane on the side that faces the stroma. The membrane or lamella of the grana have both PS1 and PS2, while the stromal lamellae membranes lack PS2 as well as NADP reductase enzyme. Rubisco has much greater affinity for carbon dioxide and oxygen when they are nearly equal. This binding competitive, it is the relative concentration of oxygen and carbon dioxide that determines which of the two will bind to the enzyme. So the answer for this question is option B. F0 portion of ATP synthase enzyme protrudes on the outer surface of the thylakoid membrane on the side that faces the stroma. So the correct option is B. Question number 87. Which function is not correctly matched with appropriate phytohormone? Cytokinins promote nutrient mobilization which help in delay of leaf senescence. The ability of gibberellins to cause an increase in length of axis is used to increase the length of grapes stalks. Auxin is used to induce parthenocarpy in tomato. Ethylene stimulates apical hook formation in dicot seedling. So the answer for this question is prevention of nutrient mobilization cytokinin. So the answer for this question is option D. Question number 88. What is the role of pseudomonas in the soil? Ammonia is oxidized to nitrite by the bacterium Nitrosomonas and Nitrococcus. The nitrite is further oxidized to nitrate with the help of the bacterium Nitrobacter. These steps are called nitrification. Nitrate present in the soil is also reduced to nitrogen by the process denitrification, which is carried by the bacteria Pseudomonas and Thiobacillus. So the answer for this question is option D. Reduce nitrate to ammonia. Question number 89. In which of the following asexual spores are generally not seen but there is a development of dikaryophase stage? When fungus reproduces sexually, two haploid hyphae of compatible mating types come together and fuse. In ascomycetes and basidiomycetes, the fusion of two haploid cells forms an intermediate stage called the dikaryotic stage. In this stage, one cell has two diploid nuclei. This stage is called as dikaryophase. Later, the parental nuclei fuse and the cells become diploid. Asexual spores are generally not seen in basidiomycetes and they generally undergo fragmentation. Thus, basidiomycetes is the group in which So the correct option is D. Functional